Tim Norwind is the bass player for OK Go. The band got their start in Chicago and now are known worldwide. We're so happy they are coming back to perform at the Taste of Randolph, especially for Father's Day. It's going to be an exciting time. It's great to have you back here in Chicagoland. Tim, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to come back to Chicago.
I mean, you were just here at the Riviera. I mean, you weren't here for quite some time. I mean, what was that energy like to come back to our city where the band first started to perform?
Yeah, I mean Chicago still feels like home, so it felt warm and inviting is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's hard not to kind of just go down nostalgia lane a little bit. And we were like staying in Wrigleyville. I for years I lived just down the street from Wrigley Field, basically, and you just start thinking about like the very first show we ever did there, the very first sold out show we ever did there, the time the time we finally got to play the Metro, all this stuff, and it's really it was a sweet experience to come back after all this time.
I had a reality check moment because recently saw you in another interview talking about how the band, you'd been in it for 27 years. And I said, well, that can't be possible. You must have formed it, as a child. But 27 years ago, at one of my previous, jobs, I had booked you for a performance, and I still have the cover of the album that the whole
Yeah,
band signed for me, so
that's awesome.
uh,
That's awesome.
which is awesome. I mean, because you and Damien went to summer camp together, you formed this friendship. I mean, talk a little bit about your connection, and then that move to Chicago to start with music.
Yeah, Damien and I met when we were 11 years old at a summer camp in northern Michigan called Interlochen, which is a summer arts camp. And kids from all over the country and all over the world really come to study music and theater and dance and visual arts for like 2 months at a time. So we met there, and when you spend 2 months and make friends with like-minded people at that age, especially, it's like you're just kind of bonded for life. And the pipe dream, the first year we met was like, wouldn't it be cool to be in a rock band? And roughly 10 years later, we started to try to live out some sort of dream quest in Chicago. I had been going to the theater school at DePaul University in Chicago, so I had already been there for 4 years. And Damien had gone to Brown, and so he came from the East Coast to Chicago, and we set up shop there. And our first show in Chicago was at the Empty Bottle. Uh,
Iconic. Yeah.
yeah, iconic. Yeah, and we're forever grateful to. There's a fella named Bruce Finkelman who ran the Empty Bottle at the time. I am assuming he still does. But he gave us our first show in Chicago very kindly, and yeah, and from there, we just like we had kind of gotten known. We definitely were known as a band for sure, as an indie band, but like we would make these screen printed posters. We hand pull them ourselves. We had a friend that went to the Art Institute in Chicago who would break us in at night, and we'd do runs of like 500. We'd pull like 500 in a night, and then we would spend the next few weeks just going out from like midnight to 4 a.m. just wheat pasting them anywhere we could. And I think we started to get known even then for the sort of visual element that we brought because we were plastering it all over Chicago. Which, when you think about it, is sort of a funny foreshadowing to the videos and other visual side of OK Go to come.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you think about, here it goes again, and the dawn of YouTube, and kind of being one of those first bands to be on the platform, and a video that people wanted to share. I mean, now, the industry has changed so much, but you guys kind of set the standard for something like that, of like, look how cool this music video is, and sharing it and kind of having this whole other visual, component to your art.
We were just so lucky that you know, the video for Here It Goes Again, which is us dancing on the treadmill, is the one that came before that. that existed before YouTube did, was for A Million Ways to Be Cruel, where we're dancing in Damien's backyard. And that one had gone viral sort of right before they were calling things viral. Um, and but the truth is we were making things like that since we were 11 years old, you know. And we were, I guess in a way, we were just lucky that a space opened up for what ended up becoming called like user generated content. For us, it was just stuff we did for fun, you know. And so I think we were lucky to have come around at the same time that art all of a sudden had a new platform, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, but we I think we saw in the early days we were excited by the potential of the internet and the potential for alternative spaces to exist on the internet, um, especially ones that might be alternative spaces for art.
And the interesting thing too was I had interviewed a director for a film that was recently coming out, or it came out a couple of years ago, called Sitting in Bars with Cake. The director is Trish
Yeah.
C.
Uh-huh.
And I saw in her bio, she's like, I worked with OK Go, and I said, oh, tell me about working with a band. She's like, I'm Damien's sister. I went to camp with we choreographed these dances. Like, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
This wasn't something that like, oh, here's here's some music. Here's how we're gonna do it. Like, this is a dream that you guys have had since you were kids. Like, I just love that part of it.
Yeah, no, I with the same year I met Damien, I met Trish. They were there at the same time. She's Damien's older sister just by a few years. Uh, and yeah, we went on to make a lot of videos with Trish, a lot of great videos. She's fantastic, super talented. Um, and yeah, love Trish. Love Trish.
Let's talk a little bit about the new album, because obviously fans have been following you since day number one, but also you got some new music out as well too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just put out a new record called And the Adjacent Possible. It is our fifth studio album. It's probably our most mixtape-like record that we've ever made. I feel like we've got like a little bit of like late era David Bowie on it, mixed with sort of like 60s Wall of Sound, Phil Spector. It's all kind of brought together by the mixing of Dave Fridman, who's best known for like Flaming Lips and MGMT and Tame Impala. So it was all kind of run through his kind of like psychedelic cosmic universe sound that he's sort of known for, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like it's my favorite record of ours to date. I probably say that every time. I maybe mean it a little more on this one. This to me sounds like the record we've always tried to make, um, and feels like we nailed it this time as far as we're concerned, you know. Um, but it's great to have new music out again. I'm hoping that we don't take such a long period of time for the next one.
The next one. Tell us a little bit about the show, what you're planning. I just don't give us too many secrets, but planning something special here for Taste of Randolph.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our shows act as sort of like it just feels like we're the hosts for a party, you
Yeah.
know. And it's our job to kind of like set the tone for everyone to feel like they are involved and connected to us and with us. And so yeah, I guess imagine just coming to like your favorite dinner party that sort of ends up in a dance party. I feel like is what people can expect. Yeah.
And the final thing here, obviously, 27 years ago to sign this for me, which I have in my house, but I'm sure, Empty Bottle, Lincoln Hall, throughout all the shows that you guys have played throughout the years, you've had those fans that are probably teenagers that fell in love with, Get Over It, and kept followed your career since then. I mean, when you come back here, do you find a lot of those people who are now parents or who have like come to all the shows, and how does that feel for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, shows lately have felt like this, like, wild family reunion of sorts,
Yeah.
and there are so many more kids that actually come to our shows, and I've come to realize those, I mean, those are the children of the parents who, you know, were there 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And the kids are, and their kids are there now, which is really lovely to see. And I'm amazed by the sort of spectrum of age at our shows now. I mean, it's like you've got the sort of like 4-year-old to like 10-year-old contingency.
Yeah.
But then there's also this like 16 to 24, and then 24 to 35. And I mean, it goes all the way up to like, I feel like I see like 60-year-olds at our show, which, isn't wildly old, but it's the 4-year-olds and the 60-year-olds are sort of a new thing for us
Yeah.
that we see in the audience, and it's really amazing to see such a wide variety and style of person at our show. It's
Well, also too, I can imagine probably if you had a longtime fan that they were probably in their 30s listening to you guys, and that's the reason they come out. I mean, I find that too now. I'm coming out for all the 20th anniversaries, the 25th anniversary shows. Like that's what gets me out because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just so touched and pleased that they're still interested and they still want to come, and and it makes me very happy.
That's amazing. Well, Tim, thank you so much for your time today. Definitely go check them out. Taste of Randolph. They're going to be there on Sunday. It's going to be Father's Day. It's going to be beautiful in Chicago. You're going to be outside. You're going to be celebrating. There's going to be a lot of bands, a lot of wonderful music, a lot of wonderful energy, great restaurants. Go check them out. Give them, of course, the Chicago welcome that they deserve because they're an awesome part of our music history here in Chicago, and we can't wait to have you guys back.
I really can't wait to be back there. Yeah, it's always so fun to be there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thank you.